Okay. Thank you for joining me. My name is Rebecca Hargis. I am a four-time IATAN card holder. I'm a gold consultant and I'm also a trainer. So I'm so happy that you joined us today. Today is going to be part one in a mini series I'm doing about Avanti Destinations and a little bit about Avanti before I get started. It can be used to quote and book Europe, Asia, Central America, South America. I haven't used it for it, but it can also be used for North Africa and the Middle East. And now, brand new, they are going to start doing the South Pacific, which includes Australia, Fiji, and New Zealand. So, a great opportunity for those international bookings that you might be looking for and not sure who to use. I have been using Avanti Destinations now for a little over 2.5 years and have made several bookings with them. And I'm also signed up in their TC program, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And am also a certified agent with Avanti Destinations, which I'll show you how to do that as well. So before we begin, I did want to talk about registration. On the front page when you come in, there's going to be a little section here that says register now. And you're going to click on need an agent account, register here. Once you go there, you're going to go ahead and fill in these options. Now, ignore some of this. It's auto-filling with my information because I'm already registered, and that's not going to be correct for what you need. Where it says agency ID, that's where you're going to want to put our IATA number. So that's the 05824840. And then fill in your email address, create a password, verify that password, first name, last name, phone number. It's pretty self-explanatory from there. And then you're going to follow it all the way through. I obviously can't click next to continue on, but you're going to go ahead and continue from there and finish the agent registration. And that's going to help you get through the process. And then they're going to send you an email once that's all verified for you to begin as an agent booking with Avanti Destinations. So pretty simple there. If you have any questions as we go through this, please feel free to put your hand up or speak out, and I will try to answer as we go. And also, if you have any questions or are wondering about how to do this registration process, because it is not in the back office, just go ahead and reach out to me and I'll put my contact information in the chat at the end if you want to contact me with any questions for that. Okay, so moving right along, we're going to go ahead and sign in onto my account, and I'll kind of explain some of the stuff that Avanti offers, and then we'll get into the first part of what we're going to cover today. So when you enter Avanti, the first thing that's going to come up each time is going to be this little screen that's going to ask you where you want to go, what you want to do. And it's also going to have upcoming trainings and webinars. And they offer fantastic trainings with tips and tricks, and they're only 15 minutes long. I mean, who can't spare 15 minutes in their day to get a quick training in? Everyone has 15 minutes that they can dig up somewhere in their day. So I love watching these. All you have to do is click on the register now, and you can watch these quick little tidbits of training sessions that they offer. There's all kinds of them. Now, say you just haven't had time to make it work or we're busy or something. If you click here where it says view more webinars, they have everything pre-recorded. So you can see the latest ones that are happening now, and then they have their archive below that. And you can go down here and look and see growing your business, using our marketing tools. They have just all kinds of great little 15-minute clips that you can learn. If this is not what you're looking for, right here at the bottom on the right-hand side, you can click on view more, and it'll bring up even more little great trainings for you. So a wonderful resource in here. And I'll also show you there's another way to get to this as well if you've already gone into the screen. To get back to your home screen, in the upper left-hand side, you're going to click on this AP Agent Portal by Avanti, and that's going to always take you back to your home screen. So when you get to your home screen, you're going to have all kinds of information on here. This first box here is going to be if you are part of the TC Connect program. And that's what I was talking about in the beginning. They have different levels. To get to each level, you get more perks and benefits. You get additional commission. There's all kinds of great things that come with being a member of the TC Connect program. So I am currently 89% of the way at hitting my next level of loyalty status. I'm currently in Explorer status. So very shortly, I should hopefully hit this next level. The screen then is going to have your current bookings. It's going to have all the different quotes that you've done inside here and are working. You've got leads if you're part of their lead program that will be in this tab here. And then you have post-travel where you can send a client a post-travel feedback in there after they've returned. So there's lots of different information there. Over on the left-hand side, you've got marketing, resources, and other useful information. Under marketing, you've got first the inspirational tab. The neat part about this is that you can go and look at all of these different destinations and gain information about the areas. So let's go Costa Rica. It's going to have all kinds of information about Costa Rica, about the different areas. It's going to have video clips. It's going to have beautiful photos for you to look at. So a great way to get familiar with maybe an area that you're not super familiar with. When a client asks you about something, maybe they're wanting to travel to Costa Rica and you haven't been there and you're like, gosh, I don't know where the best place to send them is. Let me learn about Guanacaste and all these different areas. And then you can make an informed decision for your clients. And like I said, when you get down towards the bottom, there's all kinds of different videos exploring the area, exploring the culture. So great information for you. Here it talks about if you have that thrill-seeking client, there's some tours that they might be interested, someone that's going to recharge. So all kinds of valuable tools that you're going to find in each of these areas. So a great place to really get inspired and learn more about it. The next tab has e-brochures, and they have all kinds of great brochures that you can download and send to your clients or just learn from there. They have all the webinars when I talked about before that there was another way to see them. If you click on here in webinars, this has all of the different archives again. It kind of takes you back to that same area where you can click view more and see the rest of them. So that's a quick, easy way to get to them. Then you have the training hub. And the training hub has first the Avanti Certified Expert ACE program, which I am a member of and have completed that. They're a little bit different in how they do their certification program. There's actually just a book that you can download to watch. They call it their 101 e-brochure. And then you take the ACE test. So it's not super interactive. It's more reading and then answering a test to get that. And then it talks about the perks that you get and how to get started. And then they also offer specialist programs, and these change from time to time. So currently you have the Korea travel specialist on there. You have Manchester travel specialist, and then you have the Great Britain travel specialist. And then you can learn more about how to complete each of those programs. So be watching for different specialties there. Next, they have the collateral. And they have different flyers, they have newsletters, they have all kinds of things. So let's go to flyers here and just kind of get a quick idea. They have social media kits, they have pre and post cruise information, and they have videos. So here are the flyers that they offer right now. There's all kinds of different ones to look at and kind of see what would be most beneficial for you. Maybe you're doing a trade show, a wedding expo, something like that, and you can look and see what you think would appeal most to people that are attending your show. They also have the flyers by country, so you can look it up that way. So maybe you have someone that's interested in Switzerland. Here's a great flyer for Switzerland, and you just can download it right from there. Okay. Moving along, they have co-branding, which I have not done much with, and then they have the promotions. And currently, some of the promotions they're running save 20% in the Galapagos. You can save $100 per person if you book with this, last minute Italy ideas. So lots of different featured Italian villas, lots of things there that are happening, and those are always changing. So you've got that you can go through. The next thing that I want to kind of talk about, and we'll go back to the main screen, is how to use Avanti. What is it best used for? You have three ways that you can basically use Avanti in your bookings and quotes. The first would be what they call make something, and that's where you're going to actually create a custom itinerary. You're going to build everything from scratch. Say you have a client that says, I want to start in Budapest, Hungary, and then I want to do the Christmas markets all the way through to Switzerland and into France and Germany. And I want you to build me something with all of my flights, my rail cars, my transfers, my hotels, and book some excursions for me in each stop. And I use that example because I just did it. So when you're building that, you're literally putting every piece together and building the whole thing step by step. It's a wonderful program. It is pretty user-friendly. When you start to do it, it's going to ask you your date you want to leave on. It's going to ask you number of adults, number of children, and then each destination that you want to go to and how many days you want to stay in each place. So it makes it pretty easy to do, but it is a little tricky. And so that's the one I'm going to train on in part 2 of my series, on just how to do and build that perfect itinerary for your clients. But the one I want to start with today is vacation packages. And this is kind of new to Avanti. When I started a couple of years ago, I wish this had been something that was available to us to use, but it was not something that they had. So I think it's a great way to start. And that's where we're going to begin today. And then the last thing is exploring destinations. And there's so many destinations that they offer that you can explore and go through, that I mentioned at the beginning. And so that's another series that I will go through later, probably in part 3 or part of part 2. So let's get started with vacation packages. And you can click right here on the top. And the first thing that's going to come up is, where do you want to go? And I'm going to pick Europe. And let's do Greece, since I've been there. And the first things we're going to do is choose our dates. So let's see, I went in May. It was beautiful weather. It had not quite got crowded yet with summer tourists, but still fantastic. So we're going to pick May 24th as our starting date, okay, for 2026. And we're going to say this is a couples trip for 2, no children. And for our bedding, I'm going to just put double, because we would like to share the bed together. So we'll put that like that. And we're going to get started. And you have some packages that are pre-built here. And Avanti allows you to take these pre-built packages and either accept them just the way they are or customize them specifically for your clients. But it means you don't have to start over from scratch. So say I have a client that's looking to go to Athens, Santorini, and Mykonos, possibly Crete. I've got 2 different options here. The first one is in 9 days, 8 nights, and it does Athens, Santorini, and Mykonos. And the second one here is a 12 days, 11 nights, Athens, Mykonos, Santorini, and Crete. So we have 2 different options. What I personally would do when I start doing something like this is I would go ahead and open up this itinerary. And this is what it's going to look like. It's a beautiful itinerary that has this gorgeous picture here of Santorini to start with. And it kind of goes through what it will look like. So accommodations, you'd have 3 nights in Athens, 3 nights in Santorini, 2 nights in Mykonos. It will include arrival transfers, meet and greets, an Athens city tour, ferry from Santorini to Mykonos, 1 dinner in each city, and daily breakfast. And then it just breaks down your days. So in Athens, you've got some information here. Your driver will have your ferry tickets, and then goes on to what you have. There's some sightseeing tours there in Athens. Obviously, most people go see the Acropolis, which is absolutely beautiful. Moving along day 3 to Santorini, you'll have your 3-course dinner with 1 drink. Breakfast is also included there. Then day 4 in Santorini and day 5, and it talks about all the different things. Then you'll travel to Mykonos, and your stay in Mykonos, and then your departure, you would travel back to Athens and your departure from Athens. So what I would do when I have something like this and I find a couple options is these are great to send and share with your clients. The share itinerary with your clients via email does not work for me in the programs that I use. So I go ahead and just highlight the whole thing and copy it. And then I go into my email. All right. And I'm going to create an email. Fabulous trip to Greece options. And I'm going to paste it in there. And I personally remove the Avanti Destinations from it. And I would then show them the 8 nights or 8 nights, 9 days. And here's the different options here. Now, keep in mind, none of this has pricing with it at this point. We're just getting them to narrow down what it is they're looking for, because this is for the client that comes to you and says, I don't really know exactly where I want to go. I don't really know exactly what I want to do. I don't really know exactly how long I want to be there. I'm not really positive what my budget exactly looks like. So you don't want to spend a bunch of time trying to build this custom itinerary for them when they really haven't narrowed down what they want. They've just said, we like the idea of Greece and want to see a couple of islands and probably, definitely want to go to Santorini and see the blue rooftops. And so this is the kind of thing that you would pull up for them and give them an idea. So I would send them that, and then I would probably go back and I would send them the 12-day. So this one has Athens, Mykonos, Santorini, and Crete. I would pull up that itinerary and copy that, and I would paste that in that email, and then I would send it off to my clients. And from there, I would say, okay, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking? And so the client at that point might say, 12 days is probably too long for us to be gone. Plus, we have flights on both ends of that. So I'm leaning more towards the 9 days. Perfect. We've narrowed it down now. We have an idea of what they're looking for. And I can go back then and start to book this then and create an actual itinerary for it. So what I would do is go back to the Greece packages. I know that they liked those dates. They want to leave on or arrive in Greece on 5/24. So I'm going to click book. And this is where it's going to come up with checking pricing and availability. Okay, so the screen comes up and it's going to say discover Greece, the dates, everything that I put in there. I'm going to go back to double beds because that's important for me. And then I'm going to start working through everything on the screen. So air is not included with this. And let's just say for this, our clients have plenty of air miles. They want to book their own flights. No problem. We don't worry about it. Or if you want to add flights to it, what I recommend is that you get this all built down and priced out and send it to your client. And then when they're ready to okay everything, then I would contact Avanti directly and call them and say, can you please help me with my flights? And the reason I often do that is because this is going to be island hopping. I'm going to have ferries in between. There's going to be all kinds of details that come with this. And I just like having an extra set of eyes to look that over with me and kind of go through it to figure out. And their air department is fantastic. They work really well with you in getting everything planned out and figured out. So I would start by going through this basic package comes up at $7,243. but we're going to go through and look and see now what's offered. The first piece of this is the private transfer. And I strongly recommend that you always leave the private transfer from arrival. So when they're getting there, the first of the trip, they've been on a long, long flight, they're exhausted. Let them have a private transfer from there, even if they're kind of trying to be tight about money. I would encourage you to leave that because it ensures that they're not frantically trying to start out their trip by finding a transportation back to their hotel and where are we staying and getting all of that figured out when they're first arriving in a new country. I would just encourage you to have that scheduled for them and encourage them to do that. The private transfers include one suitcase and one personal item per person. If your clients know that they're going to have more than that, you can contact Avanti and ask them for a larger vehicle to accommodate that, and they would just have to pay the difference. So just be aware that that's what they're designed for, is one suitcase and one personal item with each person on arrival. Now let's work on the hotels. And these are the ones that in these pre-built ones are offered. So there's all kinds of beautiful options here. I would go through these and I encourage you to pull up different hotels and take a look before you recommend them to your clients. The Electra Palace Hotel in Athens is stunning. It overlooks the Acropolis. So if you picked one of these suites with the Acropolis view and balcony that I'm going to pick for my clients here, absolutely gorgeous, 5-star. They're going to have 2 nights there. It has a rooftop pool that overlooks the Acropolis view. It has a rooftop restaurant. It has a bar on site. Great hotel, exactly what my clients are going to be looking for. So that would be the hotel that I would choose there. Moving on, then we have Athens City Tour. So these are some different options that they have for excursions. So in Athens, they offer a shared sightseeing tour and visit to the Acropolis Museum. So a 5-hour morning tour there, and that shows the pricing next to it there. Then it has their dinner that's included. You can remove that should you want to, and you also need to be sure that you let Avanti know at the time of the booking when you do the deposit if anyone has any dietary requirements or allergies. They need to know that right away so that they can make sure they have plenty of time to make accommodations and make notifications to whoever they need to. So that's very important, and they do require that at the time that the land deposit is made. Then moving along to Santorini. The private transfer is not included here, but if you would like to go ahead and add that, all you have to do is check that, make it easy for your clients. If they're adventurous and they're very comfortable grabbing a taxi or whatever, then you can leave it out if they'd like to save that money. Otherwise, it's all just taken care of. They will pick them up at the Athens hotel and transfer them to the Athens airport. And like I said before, the one suitcase and one personal item is included per person. The flight is not included here. That is done separately, like I said before. So that's where you would call Avanti to get that taken care of. Then moving along, when we are in now Santorini, these are the different hotel options that they have. And you can select whichever transfer you need based on which hotel you select. Now in Santorini, the El Greco is a gorgeous hotel, stunning at night when it's all lit up, overlooking everything. It's so beautiful. So I would probably pick the El Greco. We'll go with the junior suite queen size bed. So we'll pick that one for our clients there. And I decided not to do their transfers there. In Santorini, they have one dinner here included. And then the next day, there's a small group Santorini Wine Roads tour. So that is included in this as well. Okay, day 5 is also in Santorini, and looks like the cooking and tasting experience is not showing as available. So let's go ahead and put them in this catamaran sunset tour with barbecue 5-hour tour. So that's great. And these may, they'll fluctuate and come available. We're pretty far out from May of 26, so more things might become available as we go, or things might sell out. So just be aware of that. Then day 6, they're going to be moving on to Mykonos, and you have that option again of adding the private transfer if you would like to. And the ferry is included, and you do have the option of selecting economy class or business class. So should they want to spend, it's about $200 more to go business class, then they can go ahead and select this and just uncheck economy class. My clients are bougie, so they're going to get business class. Okay, and then moving along, we have your transfers then from the ferry to your hotel. You can choose to add those. And then we're going to look at a hotel. So in Mykonos, oh, the Imperial. Let's see if that's on here. Yes, it is. The Myconian Imperial Hotel is absolutely beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and select that. How about we're going to choose this one that has premium sea view with an outdoor jacuzzi? Yes, please. These are all 5-star resorts here. And in a lot of these, you have the options of 3, 4, and 5. So it just depends on what they have available on that island. Some of these up here, this first one is a 4-star. These first actual 3 are 4-star, and then it goes down to 5-star for the rest of these hotels. In Mykonos, they have the Roca Cookery restaurant dinner included there. And these prices are for 2 guests on there. And then we have the option, they have a leisure day, or they can do a sailing tour with lunch or a private city tour with a 4-hour cooking class. So now the price difference is pretty significant in those. So the sailing and lunch is a 6-hour tour for $528. The private lunch and cooking class is 4 hours for $1901. I'm going to go ahead and choose the sailing tour and lunch. I just feel like that's a better value for my clients. But if they were really into cooking, then the other one might be worth it. Okay, and then we go down here. We're on day 8, Mykonos back to Athens. So we're traveling back to Athens for the return home. We can add their transfers here. And again, it shows that flights are not included from Mykonos to Athens. So those would have to be added later, or the clients would have to add those themselves. You have the private transfer from the Athens airport to the Athens hotel. And then in Athens, this is just a 1-night stay. I would probably put them at the Hera Hotel. It's, let's see, is that? Yes, Hotel Hera. It is a cute little boutique hotel near the Acropolis that has a beautiful view, and it's not super expensive. It's a 3-star hotel, but really, really nice. So I will put them in there for just 1 night. I think that will be a great option. And then we have the private transfer should they wish to be picked up from their hotel and taken to the airport with their luggage. And those will all be pre-scheduled based on their flight times by Avanti in advance. So with all of those changes that we made to it, now we can come up to the top here and see that this package now comes to $10,512 without flights for our clients. And then I can create an itinerary for them. Now, if I'm ready to save this, I have to meet some requirements that Avanti has. So if my clients have already provided me their name, full name for at least the primary guest, date of birth, their sex, their email address, and their phone number, then I can actually create a quote. If I do not have all of those things, then I can only create a speculative quote. And that will not have their names. It'll just be a spec quote. It'll come up as spec, SPEC, and they will be able to look it up and see this information. But when the clients look at this, they're not going to see the cost breakdown of each individual thing. They're going to see a package price. So they're going to see each of the hotels, the transfers, all of the items are going to be listed, but it's going to just show a package price of $10,512. When you do this, you also have the option of adding in insurance, which I highly recommend. In any international trip that you are booking for a client, always, always, always encourage them to have travel insurance. If they book their own, like my husband and I travel a lot, we have an annual policy that covers all of our trips that we take all year long. That's totally fine. However, if they do not have coverage already, I would really encourage you to add the cost of insurance into their quote and let them know that that's included, and that you encourage them to have that, because most of our insurance policies do not work for medical issues overseas, internationally. And it covers them. They have two different options with Avanti. They can book just travel insurance, or they can book the cancel for any reason travel insurance. And that will allow them to cancel for any reason, not just a medical issue or a death, should something come up and they're not able to take this trip. So just like car insurance, it doesn't really matter until you need it. And that's the same type of thing with Avanti insurance when you're traveling internationally. It doesn't matter unless you need it, and then you really need it. So does anybody have any questions at this point before I move along? Does that all make sense? Okay, looks like I do have a question here. Okay, perfect. All right, great. Just want to make sure I'm covering everything that you might have questions on along the way here. So let's go, let's pick another destination so we can kind of look at some other options available. So we'll go back in and look at vacation packages. And what country would you like me to pick? Go ahead and pick for me, Christina. Where would you like for me to choose? Are we looking Europe, Latin America, Asia, North Africa, Middle East, South Pacific? Let's go ahead and go with the South Pacific, since this is a new one. Let's do New Zealand. All right, so we have some new packages here, and some of these packages, which is kind of neat, these actually are locked packages. So this is actually a pretty good example. So see where it has that? It says the package is not customizable. So these packages here are offered. They have prices starting at $34.75 per person, 8 days, 7 nights, New Zealand escape. And whenever you see this little lock, that's going to mean that you cannot make it customizable. Now down below here, you've got some New Zealand Discovery and New Zealand Southern Wonders, and those do not have that lock. So these packages do not have pricing, and they can be customized. So some great options here. So let's do one that can't be customized so you guys can kind of see the difference in those. Okay, let's choose, let's see. We will choose this New Zealand Escapes. All right, so let's look at the itinerary first. All right, so this goes to Auckland, Queenstown, okay, great. So kind of gives you a map first of where you're going to be going. And it talks about all the different inclusions that it has. This one even includes a 5-day rental car. And then it has pricing based on when your clients want to take this trip. So say my clients want to go during the summer months with their kids, and so they're going to go June 29th of 2026 through July 5th. That's going to be $4,299 per person for this trip. Day one, they're going to arrive in Auckland, and then it goes through what they're going to have each day. They have a deluxe spa here, an indigenous experience. How very cool. All kinds of stuff listed as to what each day of the tour is going to include. They have a jet boat ride. Here they're going to be staying at a boutique hotel or similar, and all the terms and conditions based on that. So this looks like a pretty amazing 8-day trip. So we've picked our date. Let's go ahead and click book and see how this plays through. Okay, so our clients, like I said, they're going to go in June. So we'll say June 29th. And this is going to be 2 adults and 1 child. And their child is 12 years old. Okay. So here we go. We've got our arrival and our hotel. The hotel options are already pre-selected in there, and it's going to be a boutique suite or similar. And it is a 4-star hotel. The next stop is also a 4-star hotel for 2 nights. It's going to tell you when you pick up the rental car, and that's listed in there. And it has all of your information and when you drop off the rental car. So everything is pre-selected and built for you. The total cost of this trip is $7,409 there. It has all of the information right there and ready to go. So these non-customizable ones are great to use for clients, like I said, that really don't know where they want to go, what they want to do, are just thinking, we always wanted to go to New Zealand. We'd like to try something new, but we kind of need you to put it together for us and tell us what would be a great option. And you always have ChatGPT as a resource. I have gone on there before and said, please help me build an itinerary starting here and hit these 4 cities. And my clients like to do wine tasting and they want to see this and they want to do different things in different areas. So you have all these great options. Christina said, do you know if there are large or small groups? Okay, so to be considered a group with Avanti Destination, you have to have 10 people or more. So they do have group options. And let's see where I'm trying to remember exactly where I go for the group section. Let's see. Let me go back to my main page and I can show you. I have quoted a group in here before, but it's been a little while. So let's go back to our homepage. And then when you have create a booking here, it says groups of 10 plus. And you go in there to visit groups. And they're going to help you through this. So it'll teach you all about the different ways, how do you navigate with them. And if I had a group, what I did previously and what I would do again if I did it is to call them and talk to them about it. So there's all the different things, the 7 steps to success. They have all of this stuff here. There are some webinars on groups that you can train on. But I would definitely encourage you to call their group travel department and talk with them about it and just say, this is my first group booking with you. And I would like to know kind of what I don't know, what I need to do. What do you recommend? What is the process that's going to make me the most successful at getting this group to go? And so that is how I would recommend that you go through it. Okay. Any other questions that I can answer for you there? Under webinars, these will pull up. Oh shoot, they're not loading. Okay, I guess they just are not pulling up like that, but Avanti does a thing for working with groups for sports, for spiritual groups, and then special interest groups. So those are kind of more customized to like set groups, but maybe you just have a group of friends or family members that are traveling together. It can kind of just contact them and they will guide you through that. I just had an extended family that wanted to travel together, and so we ended up, there was 12 of them, and so I needed to do it as a group that way. I would say with Avanti, uh, this is going to be a lot more geared towards your luxury travel, or kind of maybe your higher end travel. You can do it more cost effective with 3-star hotels and not doing the transfers. But I have found if I have a client that's really, really mindful of their budget and really penny pinching, Avanti is not necessarily the best supplier to use for that. This works great when you have someone like my previous client, a grandmother who took her grandkids to Europe every single time each one of them turned 17 years old. And this was kind of a trip that she had done. And this last one, the last two of her grandkids were turning 15 and 17. And she was 80 years old and decided that she didn't know if she was going to be able to do it again in 2 years. So she just decided to go ahead and take the last two together. And they planned the most amazing trip and saw all the sites, everything there was to offer, all through Switzerland, France, all through Germany, everywhere, and every site that you could possibly imagine that the tourists want to see, and every museum, you name it, they saw it. And it was an amazing, amazing memory for them. But they wanted to stay in higher end hotels, and they wanted to have some more of the private type tours rather than shared tours and things like that. And the Avanti specializes in a lot of those types of travel. So it is a great tool for that type of traveler. Any other questions that you have for me there? Perfect. All right. So one more thing that I wanted to cover before we get off here. Let me go back to move this thing around. Okay. So the resources off to the side, they've got all kinds of different documents and information there, and then policies. So TripMate is their insurance, and it does talk about their pricing and different information that's available there. So you have that as a resource. Okay. You have their privacy policy, their in-travel issues information, and then there's also a tab that has useful information. So all of the about us, their loyalty program, which we talked about before, the TC Connect program. So that is Avanti's loyalty program. And I would encourage you to go ahead and register with that. You just have to click register now. So I am very close to hitting the Voyager level right now. I am 89% through Explorer and ready to land on Voyager. And so this kind of goes through and tells you what you have. So when you hit Voyager level, then I will have a TC Connect personal advisor that I can work with. So I'll have my own personal advisor. I won't have to just call in to just anybody. The waiver of the 2-night minimum will turn now to a 1-night minimum. So that's really nice. The educational trip eligibility. So I will have an invite now to be part of the EDU program and be invited to do some of those educational trips, which you cannot do at the Explorer level. And then once you reach the next level, the Navigator, you have priority in those trips as well as the Globetrotter. So that's pretty exciting. Avanti offers a travel agent discount. So if you personally are traveling on any of their trips, you receive a 20% discount as an explorer. When I hit the Voyager level, then I will have a 25% discount that goes all the way up to 30% if you make that Globetrotter level. So that's pretty exciting. And then invitation to go to the Avanti office. I will have that at the Voyager level. For me, that's pretty exciting because I'm located in Salem, Oregon, and their office is about 40 minutes from my house. So I would like to be able to go there. It's really great when I call and I talk to them and they're like, oh, wait, you're in Salem. So we're having the same weather. If it's raining here, it's raining there. And I get to speak to people that are from the Pacific Northwest. And so it's kind of neat. So I'm excited to be able to get an opportunity to go meet them and chat with them. So that is the loyalty program. So I encourage you to go ahead and register and get started on that. And then it will follow you along with your bookings as you go. And I think that was probably the last thing I really wanted to cover. Let me see here. How to contact them is there. Managing your bookings, which comes up on your front screen here. So that's always going to be here under bookings. And so say I have this current booking right here that's going on right now. If I needed to do something in it, I can just click right here on the reservation number and it's going to pull up my booking right there and have all of my information right there readily available to me. And frequently asked questions is also under here. So if there are some things that you're not sure about, you'll learn a lot when you do the training to be an ACE, but there's also some other things that maybe might not be covered in there. So that's a great place for it. So with that, I will open it up if you have any more questions. Other than that, I want to thank you guys for your time and I appreciate you being here today. Any other questions that I can answer for you? Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being on here today. And I hope you all have learned a lot. And I hope that you start using Avanti and love it as much as I do. Their customer service is fantastic. You can call them anytime and they will help you through the process. Their phone number is up here at the top of their dashboard right here. So call them anytime and start booking those great trips. So I look forward to working with you guys on part 2 of this series. And safe travels. Bye-bye.